Hello everyone, this is Sudipta from Technical Potpourri and welcome to my new video. The topic of today's video is ApexCursor, which became GA in Spring 26 release. So in this video, I'm going to show you what is the correct way to write your ApexCursor logic, and if there is an exception, how you can handle that exception inside your Apex class. So let's see that in action. Before I show you the code, I would like to extend a huge thank you to my friend Mohit, who actually helped me to understand how this ApexCursor works. While I was playing with this ApexCursor, I was facing some problem. I put a question in the Stack Exchange and he helped me to understand what is the correct way of writing the ApexCursor. So what I'll do, I will try to fetch all the contacts from my developer org using the ApexCursor. So first I will show you how many contacts I have in my system. So from contact, and as you can see, I have 31 contacts in my developer org. So with that, let me bring my Visual Studio Code and show you the first Apex class which I have written. So here is the first Apex class which I want to explain to you. It's a very basic Apex class which implements a queueable interface, and then this is a constructor where I'm using the Database.getCursor, and this is a query which is basically select ID from contact order by ID, which is basically returning all the contacts, all the 31 contacts from my developer org using the getCursor. So that is the step number one. When the step number one is done, then what I'm doing is that I am executing the execute method, and here it's basically locator.fetch. Locator is nothing but the instance of database.cursor, and with the fetch method, what I'm doing is that from the position, which is basically 0, I am fetching the first 20 records. So from 0 till 20, these are the number of contacts I'm fetching. That's stored inside the scope. And then I am changing the position from scope.size. Scope.size is 20. So position initial value was 0. So the position is now becoming 20. And then it is a simple system.debug. And then if the position is less than locator.get number of elements, this is basically returning me the total number of records from the getCursor. So basically 31. So position is 20. And this one is 31, so definitely 20 is less than 31. So I'm doing another execution one more time. So this is a very basic implementation. If you go through the developer guide from the Apex, you will find exactly this code. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to execute this code using the developer console and show you the problem that I faced. So let me go to the developer console and let me open this one. And I am basically executing this class and I'm going to execute. So you see here, it failed. So the first time it ran, and if I open the first log, it actually processing 20 contacts and position become 20. But second time it failed. Second time it failed with the error message of fetch beyond bound detected 40. Now what is the reason behind that? The reason is that in my developer org, I have only 31 contacts. So first time when it ran, it definitely was able to successfully fetch the 20 out of the 31. So the remaining is 11. So next time in the next execution, when I am telling to fetch another 20, but there is no 20, there is only 11 contacts left. So that is why this one is failing. And this one is giving me the error. Fetch beyond bound detected 40. So now the question is, if this is a problem, what is the correct way of implementing this cursor? That's where Mohit helped me, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So this is the updated version of the code. So what is happening here is that it's the same thing. Again, the locator where I am using the getCursor and select ID, everything same. Position is 0, but actual thing starts from here. So first what I'm doing is that I am getting the number of records, get num records. And what this function is returning me, this function is returning me the total number of records, which is basically 31. So 31 is getting stored inside the total variable. Now I'm calculating a remaining variable. So what is remaining is total minus position. So when this code will run for the first time, what is the value of position? Position is 0. what is the value of total? Total is 31 as per my developer org. So 31 minus 0 means 31. So it means 31 records remaining. And what I'm doing here, if the remaining is less than equals to 0, then I'm stopping the execution. But right now remaining is 31. So 31 is definitely not less than equals to 0. So this logic is not executed. So I'm coming here. What I'm doing here, I'm using the maths.min function to find out the minimum between two values. What is my chunk size? My chunk size is 20. And what is the remaining? Remaining is, in this scenario, is 31. So between 20 and 31, the minimum is 20. So that's becoming my count. So here, when I'm doing a locator.fetch, instead of giving always the same number of records to be fetched, like in the previous example, it was always 20. What I'm doing here in this updated version of the code, whatever the minimum between the chunk size and the remaining, put that value here. So in the first execution, it becomes 20 because 20 is a minimum between chunk size 20 and remaining 31. So this looks good. So it get executed. The position is getting updated. Now position is becoming 20. So 20 is definitely less than total. Total is 31. So 20 is less than 31. So I'm doing another execution. Now in the second execution, total is always 31. What is remaining? Total minus position. Position is what? Position is now 20, right? So 31 minus 20. So remaining is 11. In the second execution, the remaining value is 11. So this function is returning me the minimum of 20 and 11, which is basically 11. So in the second execution, this count value is not 20 anymore. It's 11. So that's why it will not throw me an error, which I'll show you very soon. And then position becomes 20 plus 11, that is 31. Now here 31 is definitely not less than 31. So it will not do another execution. So this is what the updated code is all about. So updated code is not, in the updated code, instead of always giving the same amount of records to be fetched, this code is intelligent enough to find out what is remaining and give the remaining amount as the number of record to be fetched. Okay, so let's execute this code and see if it is able to successfully fetch. So now if I execute that, look. So this is the first execution. So processing 20, position 20, total number of 31. In the second one, processing only 11 records. Position 31, total 31. So this updated code, it was able to fetch all the 31 records using datasets.getCursor, where the code is intelligent enough to find out what is the remaining records and give only that much to the fetch function as a parameter. So this is the correct way to implement the datasets.getCursor. If you want to know more about datasets.getCursor, I have a dedicated video in my YouTube channel where I have gone through what is datasets.getCursor, how it is different from batch Apex, when you should use that, when you should not use that, what are the different advantages you will get when you will use datasets.getCursor or rather batch Apex. So if you like to know more about that, I'll highly recommend that you go through my YouTube video. I'll put the link in the description of this video as well as on the top right corner. So please go and check that out. Okay, with that, let's bring the Salesforce documentation and explain you the exception thing. So basically what the documentation says, this datasets.getCursor can throw these new system exceptions. One is a fatal cursor exception or the transient cursor exception. Now, if the exception is transient cursor exception, then we can definitely retry the transaction. I want to enhance the code to make sure the retry logic is also implemented when there is a transient cursor exception. And that's what I'm going to show you now. Okay. So with that, let's bring the other version of the code. So this code is a little bit of different. Again, I'll put the code in GitHub and share the link of the GitHub in the description of the video so that you can definitely go through that. But what it's basically doing is that it's almost the same. Here I am making two static variables. One is the chunk size and the maximum retry. So chunk size as is 20 and maximum retries I'm telling is 2. Now here I am doing a private inner class, which is basically a job state. I'm giving the name as job state. And here I have three variables. One is a locator, one is a current position, and one is a current retry count. And then I have this constructor. Inside the constructor, I am instantiating this inner class. Then I am adding the values here. For this locator, I am giving this database.cursor. Same thing. Current position, I'm initiating as 0. Current retry count, I'm initiating as 0. Perfect. Now, inside the execute method, this is where I'll handle the exception. Now, as you all know, exception handling is basically try and catch. So I'm starting my try block. So try block, what I'm doing first, I am first fetching the total number of records. So total number of records is basically 31, which I am storing inside the total. Remaining, again, the total minus my current position. So my current position is 0. So total minus 0 means 31 minus 0. So remaining is 31. 31 is not less than 0. So I'm continuing with my logic. Same thing I'm doing here. I'm finding the minimum between chunk size and the remaining. So in this case is 20 and 31. So definitely minimum is 20. So count equals to 20, and then I am fetching the number of records. So from current position 0 till 20 records. Now here, if the scope is not empty, means there is some record here. I'm basically calling a function. This function is nothing. There is just a system.debug. I'm not doing anything. But in the real world, you'll put your business logic here. Then what I'm doing here is that I'm updating the current position from the scope size. So initially it was 0. So now it will become 20 because scope size is 20. And then I'm doing if the current position is less than 31, less than total, which is 31, then I'm doing another transaction. But here is the catch block. So first I am catching the transition cursor exception. And what this will do, if that exception happens, if that state current retry count. So what is state? State is nothing but this one, job state. So if the state current retry count is less than max retry, so max retries is 2. If this value is less than 2, then I'm increasing the value by 1 and doing another retry. So this is the way how you can retry your logic, how you can retry the transaction. So basically you catch the exception, you figure it out like how many times you retried. So you can put your maximum retry as per your logic, right? For example, here it's only 2. So if your current retry count is less than your max retry, then you can increase the amount and do another retry. And when it will become the maximum number of retry, then what you can do, you can put a system.debug that maximum retry is reached. And this is a generic exception. So I hope you like this video, because this Apex Cursor is a very powerful addition. And as we all know, the power comes with responsibilities. So implementing Apex Cursor in a proper way is very important. So if you think this video is going to be helpful, please share this with your friends, with your colleagues, with your team members. And if you'd like to know more about Apex Salesforce, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, Technical Potpourri. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that next time when I'll publish videos like this, you will be the first person to be notified. Till my next video, stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.